All right, so are you ready to dive deep into the mind of a legend?
Always up for that. Who are we talking about?
Today, it's Warren Buffett.
Okay, the Oracle of Omaha. I'm intrigued.
We're going to pull some incredible insights from this YouTube video called Warren Buffett, How to Get Rich for Beginners.
Sounds promising. Where'd you find that?
It's from the channel Free Investing. They use excerpts of interviews with Buffett and his partner, Charlie Munger.
Nice.
We're basically trying to create a cheat sheet for success straight from the source.
I love that. A cheat sheet to success. And what's funny is, even though Buffett is this, giant in finance, his advice is very down to earth.
Oh, totally. You'd think he'd be talking about all these crazy strategies or trying to predict the market, but he actually just focuses on basic principles.
Yeah, like that snowball analogy, right?
Yes, the snowball.
Perfectly explains compound interest.
And it's such a good visual, too. It's just this little snowball gathering more and more snow as it rolls down the hill.
Right, and it becomes this unstoppable force.
But the key is the hill has to be long. Like, the earlier you start, the more time that snowball has to grow.
Exactly. You need time for that magic to happen.
And speaking of starting early, Buffett has some, interesting advice for beginners.
Oh, like what?
He says to focus on smaller companies.
Interesting.
That's where you might find these hidden gems that everybody else missed.
Makes sense. Less attention, less competition.
Yeah, he actually said, if I were working with a small amount of money, I would focus on smaller companies because I would be working with smaller sums and there's more chance that something is overlooked in that arena.
So basically, start small and look where others aren't looking.
Exactly. And it's funny. He found that as his capital grew, his investment universe actually shrank.
Really? That's counterintuitive.
It is, right. You'd think the more money you have, the more options you have, but it's actually the opposite.
I guess because you need businesses big enough to, absorb that investment.
Exactly. Which is why, if you're just starting out, you actually have an advantage.
Makes sense. More options on the table when you're working with smaller sums.
And this brings us to another interesting point. Buffett's approach to research early on was pretty simple.
Simple for a guy like him.
Oh, yeah, but incredibly labor-intensive. He spent hours and hours poring over financial data.
Just digging, trying to find those undervalued businesses.
Yep. Mountains of data. He said he read, get this, 20,000 pages in Moody's manuals.
Wow.
Twice.
That's dedication.
It just shows that there's really no replacement for thorough research.
He was building that foundation brick by brick.
And it's that commitment to understanding the businesses he invested in that really set him apart. Now, here's a question for you. Do you think you need a fancy business school degree to be successful?
Well, traditionally, yeah, it seems like the path, but...
Buffett doesn't necessarily think so. He actually said, I don't even think it's important that every person go to college at all.
That's pretty radical coming from him.
It is, right? He thinks it's more about finding your passion.
Okay, so not just about the degree, but finding that thing that motivates you.
Exactly. And he told this story about this woman, Mrs. B. She built this huge furniture business.
Impressive. Did she have a business degree?
Nope. Never went to school.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Right. Proof that passion and determination are powerful.
It's really inspiring.
Buffett said it best. Find your passion and then don't let anything stop you. Which actually reminds me of something else he talks about all the time, who you surround yourself with.
Oh, yeah, your network. It's huge.
He's always emphasizing that. He says, you are going to move in the direction of the people that you associate with.
It makes sense, though. The people around you influence you, your mindset, your behavior.
Absolutely. And it can either lift you up or drag you down.
So choose wisely, right? Surround yourself with good people.
Exactly. And speaking of good people, let's talk about Buffett's regrets. It's actually not about the investments he lost money on.
Oh, what are they about then?
It's the missed opportunities.
The ones that got away.
Yeah. He actually said, and this is kind of funny, I was sucking my thumb when I should have been writing checks.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's a vivid image. But I get it. Sometimes you hesitate, and then it's too late.
Exactly. Don't let fear stop you. You got to be willing to act.
Take the chance, right?
Yeah.
Calculated risks and all that.
Absolutely. And this actually leads us to another interesting thing. Imagine Buffett offered you $50,000 for 10% of your future earnings.
Ooh, okay. That's a tough one. 50 grand's a lot of money, but
Would you take it?
I'd have to really believe I was going to earn way more than $500,000 in my lifetime to say no.
Exactly. And that's the point he's making. You have to believe in your own potential.
You are your most valuable asset, right? Invest in yourself.
Exactly. And it's not just about financial investment. It's about developing your skills, building a strong foundation.
Learning, growing, becoming more valuable. Makes sense.
And he uses this amazing analogy to drive that home. Imagine you're given just one car for your entire life.
Just one. Wow, I'd take really good care of it then.
Right. You'd make sure it was always in top condition.
Definitely wouldn't want to wreck it.
Well, he says to think about your mind and body the same way.
You only get one of each.
He literally said, you're going to get one body and one mind, and that's all you're going to get, and it has to last you a lifetime.
Makes you think, huh? It's about taking care of yourself for the long haul.
And that's just part of his bigger message. Think long term, not just about your money, but about your whole life.
Building a life that's fulfilling, not just successful.
Exactly. And that's what we're all really after, right?
It's amazing how he can take these really complex ideas and make them so simple.
I know, right? He just cuts through all the noise.
It's right to the heart of it.
And one thing that really stuck with me was his whole thing about regrets.
Oh, yeah. What did he say about those?
Well, it's not about, like, the money he's lost on investments.
Oh. What is it then?
It's the missed opportunities.
Makes you think, right?
Totally. And he even joked about it.
How so?
He said, I was sucking my thumb when I should have been writing checks.
Huh. That's a good one.
But it's true, you know? Sometimes you hesitate and then it's gone.
Yeah, you got to be willing to act.
Exactly. Don't let fear hold you back.
Calculated risks.
Yes, exactly. And that kind of brings us back to that question about Buffett's offer, remember?
Oh, right. The 10% of your future earnings thing.
Would you take the 50 grand?
Well, it makes you think about your own potential.
It does. If you believe in yourself, you wouldn't settle for such a small piece of the pie.
Like you're worth more than that.
Yes. And that's what he's getting at. You have to invest in yourself.
Skills, knowledge, the whole package.
And remember that car analogy.
Oh, yeah. The one car for life.
Think about your mind and body the same way.
Take good care of them.
They're your most valuable assets.
So treat them that way.
Exactly. And that kind of ties into his whole long-term thinking thing.
Sustainable success.
Yes. Not just about working yourself to the bone.
Got to find that balance, right?
Exactly. It's okay to slow down, take care of yourself.
It's all part of the bigger picture.
And remember, we're talking about Buffett's wisdom, but you don't have to follow it blindly.
Take what works for you.
Make it your own.
Adapt it to your life.
And speaking of learning from others, remember what he said about surrounding yourself with the right people.
Oh, yeah. The mentorship thing.
He really believes in that.
Finding people who can guide you.
Who've been there, done that.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be some formal thing.
Could be a friend, a family member, anyone.
As long as they inspire you.
Push you to be better.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Picks their brains.
Most people are happy to share what they know.
It's all about being proactive.
Taking the initiative.
And remember, even Buffett had mentors.
Everyone starts somewhere.
And don't forget about continuous learning.
He's a big reader, right?
Huge. He says he reads like 500 pages a day.
Wow, I can barely get through 50.
Me neither. But it shows his commitment to learning.
Always expanding his knowledge.
And it's not just about books.
It's about being curious about the world.
Trying new things.
Having new experiences.
It's all about growth.
Becoming a better version of yourself.
And that's pretty empowering, don't you think?
It is. You're not limited by what you know now.
Always learning, always growing.
That's the beauty of it.
It's like the world is a giant classroom.
Full of opportunities.
Just waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
It really is. There's always something new to learn. Speaking of learning, you know, one thing we haven't really touched on is Buffett's emphasis on integrity.
Yeah, doing the right thing.
He talks about it all the time, and it might seem kind of obvious.
But it's important.
Oh, totally. He has this great quote. He says, "It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently."
It's so true. And it's not just about, like, being a good person.
Right, it's good business, too.
People trust you.
Exactly. And that's so important for success.
In any relationship, really.
With customers, investors, even colleagues.
Makes a big difference.
And it kind of goes back to what he said about surrounding yourself with good people.
Oh, yeah. Your network influences you.
If everyone around you is cutting corners, it's hard to stay on the right path.
It's true. You got to be careful who you spend time with.
It's like that saying, you're known by the company you keep.
And I think that applies to, like, everything.
Totally. You got to invest in your character, not just your skills and knowledge.
It's all part of building a solid foundation.
A foundation for a successful life.
And it's inspiring to see someone like Buffett, you know, with all his wealth,
Yeah.
still prioritizing those values.
It shows you don't have to compromise to get ahead.
In fact, I think it means more when you do it the right way.
Hard work, dedication, doing the right thing.
That's how you build a legacy you can be proud of.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great place to wrap up our deep dive into Warren Buffett's wisdom.
Yeah, lots to think about.
I want to leave you with this. What can you do today to increase your value?
Not just your net worth, but as a person.
How can you invest in yourself, your relationships, your impact on the world?
Those are the things that really matter.
And remember, this deep dive might be ending.
But your journey is just beginning.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.